Hi, I'm Tiana. For most of my life, I thought my stomach growling through math class was just normal. Mom always packed me lunch in the morning. I'd watch her do it. But somehow, by lunchtime, my sister Zoe would be eating my favorite sandwiches while I pretended I wasn't hungry. Tiana, can I borrow your English notes? Zoe asked, sliding into the seat across from me in the cafeteria. I nodded, watching her unwrap the turkey sandwich Mom had made that morning. That was supposed to be my lunch. Zoe rolled her eyes. Mom said I could have it. She made you something else. She didn't, though. I pulled out my empty lunch bag. This is the third time this week. Not my problem. Zoe took a big bite. You should talk to her about it. My best friend Amara sat down beside me, sliding half her sandwich over. Here, you look like you're about to faint. I'm fine, I insisted, though my hands shook slightly. Mom probably just forgot again. Forgot for the third time this week? Amara raised an eyebrow. That's not forgetting, that's a pattern. Have you talked to your dad about this? Dad's always working, I said, reluctantly taking the half sandwich. And Mom gets defensive whenever I bring it up? What does she say exactly? Amara asked. That Zoe needs the extra food because she has track practice, that I could stand to lose a few pounds anyway, that I should just buy lunch if I'm that hungry. Zoe smirked. She's right about the track thing. I need the calories. So buy your own lunch, Amara snapped. Your sister is literally starving. Whatever. I've got to go. Zoe gathered her things and walked away, taking the rest of my sandwich with her. Mr. Harris, our science teacher, approached our table. Tiana, are you ready for the lab presentation today? Yes, Mr. Harris, I replied, though my head felt light. You look pale. Are you feeling all right? He asked, concerned. I'm fine, just a little tired. Well, drink some water at least. Can't have my best student passing out during her presentation. As he walked away, Amara grabbed my arm. Tiana, this is serious. You need to tell someone. Tell who? Mom will just deny it and Dad's never around to see it happen. A counselor then, or call your grandma. Someone needs to know what's happening. The bell rang, and we headed to science class. As I stood at the front of the room, pointing to our project display, the room started to spin. The cells undergo mitosis when... My voice sounded far away, even to myself. The fluorescent lights above blurred into streaks. Tiana? Mr. Harris's voice echoed strangely. I felt my knees buckle beneath me, and then nothing. I woke up in the nurse's office with Miss Chen, the school nurse, holding my wrist and checking my pulse. There you are, she said gently. You gave everyone quite a scare. What happened? I asked, trying to sit up. You fainted during your presentation. When was the last time you ate a proper meal? I hesitated. Breakfast, I guess. And yesterday? I don't remember. Miss Chen frowned. Your blood sugar is dangerously low. Amara mentioned you haven't been eating lunch. Is there something going on at home that I should know about? My eyes filled with tears as Amara's words echoed in my head. Someone needs to know what's happening. My mom, I started, my voice breaking. She packs my lunch every day, but then she gives it to my sister instead. She says I don't need it as much. Miss Chen's expression changed. I'm going to call your parents. No! I sat up too quickly, making my head spin. My mom will just deny it. Tiana, Miss Chen said firmly. What you're describing is neglect, and I'm required by law to report it. We're calling your parents and the school counselor right now. The school conference room felt too small with everyone squeezed around the table. Me, my parents, the principal, Miss Chen, and Mrs. Reynolds, the school counselor. Mr. and Mrs. Carter, Tiana collapsed today due to hypoglycemia, Miss Chen explained. She tells me she hasn't been getting adequate nutrition because her packed lunches are being given to her sister. Mom immediately shook her head. That's ridiculous. I pack lunches for both my girls every day. Then why was Tiana's empty? Mrs. Reynolds asked, pushing my lunch bag across the table. She must have eaten it already, Mom insisted. Several students confirmed seeing Zoe with Tiana's lunch, the principal added. This apparently happens regularly. Dad looked confused. I don't understand. Lisa, you told me both girls were taken care of. They are, Mom snapped. Tiana is exaggerating for attention. Mrs. Carter, Mrs. Reynolds interjected. Tiana didn't tell us anything until after she collapsed. This isn't attention-seeking behavior. Zoe has track, Mom insisted. She needs more calories. Then pack her more food, Dad said, his voice rising. Don't take from one child to give to another. Tiana needs to learn to share, Mom replied dismissively. Share? I finally found my voice. You tell me every morning that you packed me lunch, then you give it to Zoe behind my back. That's not sharing, that's lying. Don't speak to your mother that way, Mom said automatically. Dad turned to me. Has this been happening a lot, Tiana? Almost every day for months, I admitted. I tried to tell you, but you're always working. Mrs. Reynolds slid a folder forward. We've documented Tiana's weight loss over the past semester during physical education assessments. She's dropped to the 10th percentile for her age group. I want to speak with Amara, I said suddenly. She's seen what's been happening. That won't be necessary, Mom started, but the principal was already sending for her. When Amara entered, she immediately sat next to me. Are you okay? I need you to tell them what you've seen, I said quietly. Amara nodded. Mrs. Carter has been taking Tiana's lunch for months. I've shared my food with Tiana at least 3 times a week since January. You're just backing up your friend, Mom accused. I have photos, Amara replied, pulling out her phone. I started taking them when Tiana wouldn't stand up for herself. Here's Zoe eating the lunch you packed for Tiana yesterday and the day before. Dad looked at the photos, then at Mom. Lisa, what were you thinking? Zoe needs... Stop saying that, I interrupted. If Zoe needs more food, buy her more food. Don't starve me. Mrs. Reynolds cleared her throat. Given the circumstances, I'm required to file a report with Child Protective Services. That's completely unnecessary, Mom protested. It's standard procedure in cases of suspected neglect, Mrs. Reynolds explained. Neglect? Mom looked outraged. I feed my daughter. One of your daughters, Dad corrected, his face hard. Tiana, grab your things. You're coming home with me to my apartment tonight. John, you can't just... Yes, I can, Dad interrupted. We're separated, Lisa, and I have equal custody. Clearly, Tiana isn't safe with you right now. 3 days later, a woman named Miss Daniels from Child Protective Services sat at Dad's kitchen table with us. Mom had been calling constantly, alternating between anger and tearful apologies. Tiana, can you tell me about your typical day at home? Miss Daniels asked. I wake up, get ready for school, and Mom makes breakfast and packs our lunches. For both you and your sister? She packs both, but then she gives mine to Zoe and tells me I can buy lunch, or that she packed me something different, which she never does. And what happens when you get home from school? I'm usually starving, so I try to find something to eat, but Mom says I need to wait for dinner so I don't ruin my appetite. While Zoe gets snacks, Dad added. My phone buzzed with a text from Mom. Please tell them this is all a misunderstanding. I'll make it up to you, I promise. Miss Daniels noticed. Is that your mother? I nodded, showing her the message. Has she been contacting you a lot? Non-stop, I admitted. She says she's sorry, that she didn't realize how bad it was, that she'll change. Do you believe her? Miss Daniels asked. I hesitated. I don't know. She's never admitted she was wrong before. The doorbell rang, and Dad went to answer it. I heard raised voices, then Mom burst into the kitchen with Zoe trailing behind her. Tiana, baby, please come home, Mom pleaded. I'm so sorry about everything. I didn't realize you were actually going hungry. Mrs. Carter, Miss Daniels began. This meeting is... I'm her mother, Mom snapped. I have every right to be here. You were deliberately starving me, I said quietly. How could you not realize that? I wasn't starving you. Zoe just needed... Stop saying that. I stood up, surprising everyone, including myself. If Zoe needed more food, you could have made her more food. You chose to take mine away. Zoe looked uncomfortable. Mom, did you really take Tiana's lunch every day? Not every day, Mom hedged. Yes, every day, I insisted. And you told me I was imagining things when I complained. I didn't think it was that serious, Mom said defensively. You could have bought lunch. With what money? I asked. You never gave me lunch money. Well, you could have spoken up more clearly. I did, for months. You called me dramatic and said I was trying to make Zoe look bad. Tiana, please. Mom's voice softened. I'm sorry, I really am. I didn't understand what I was doing to you. You understood, I replied, my voice shaking. You just didn't care. Mom reached for my hand. Baby, please forgive me. We can fix this. Come home. No. I pulled my hand away. I'm not coming home just so you can go back to favoring Zoe over me. I don't favor— Yes, you do, Zoe interrupted, surprising everyone. Mom, you do favor me. I didn't realize you were taking Tiana's actual food, but you always give me more of everything. Mom's face hardened. So now you're both against me? After everything I've done for this family? Mrs. Carter, Miss Daniels said firmly, based on what I've heard today and the school's documentation, I'm recommending a temporary custody modification and mandatory family counseling. You can't do that, Mom hissed. I'm a good mother. A good mother doesn't starve one child to feed another, Dad replied. I'm filing for primary custody tomorrow. Mom pointed at me. This is your fault. All you had to do was keep quiet. Mrs. Carter, Miss Daniels stood up. That's enough. Threatening your daughter will only make your situation worse. 6 weeks later, I sat in the courthouse hallway with Dad, waiting for our final custody hearing. Mom and I had been attending separate counseling sessions, but I'd refused the joint sessions the court recommended. You sure you want to go through with this? Dad asked. You could still try to work things out with your mom. I'm sure, I said. I don't want to live with someone who sees me as less important than Zoe. The courtroom doors opened, and Zoe walked out, wiping tears from her eyes. Hey, she said, sitting beside me. I just testified. What did you say? I asked warily. The truth. That Mom always gave me your food. That she made me feel like I deserved more than you did. That she got angry when I tried to share with you. I stared at her. You never tried to share with me. Once I did, Zoe admitted. You were asleep. Mom caught me leaving a sandwich in your backpack and threw it away. She said you'd get fat if you ate as much as me. Zoe looked down. I'm sorry I didn't stand up for you sooner. Before I could respond, Mom's lawyer emerged from the courtroom. Tiana, the judge would like to hear from you now. Inside, Mom sat at one table with her lawyer, looking smaller than I remembered. The judge, an older woman with kind eyes, asked me several questions about living with Dad, about school, about how I felt now that I was eating regularly again. Then came the hard question. Tiana, your mother has completed the parenting classes ordered by this court and states that she's recognized her mistakes. Would you be willing to spend weekends at her home? I looked at Mom, who mouthed, please at me with tears in her eyes. No, Your Honor, I said firmly. I don't trust her. She's only sorry because she got caught, not because she understands what she did wrong. Tiana, please, Mom interrupted. I've changed, I promise. The judge frowned at the interruption. Mrs. Carter, you'll have your chance to speak. She's just being difficult, Mom continued anyway. She's always been jealous of her sister. The judge raised an eyebrow. Mrs. Carter, statements like that support your daughter's concerns. After the hearing, the judge granted Dad primary custody, with Mom having supervised visitation twice a month, if I agreed to it. In the hallway afterward, Mom cornered me. Tiana, we can fix this. I'll do whatever it takes. Please don't throw away our relationship. You threw it away, I replied calmly. Every time you took food out of my hands to give to Zoe, you were telling me I didn't matter as much. I made a mistake. Parents make mistakes. Repeatedly starving your child isn't a mistake, Mom. It's a choice. Dad put his arm around my shoulders. Lisa, respect the court's decision. Tiana needs time. As we walked away, Amara was waiting by the elevators. How did it go? Dad got custody, I said, feeling lighter than I had in years. Are you okay? She asked. I'm getting there, I replied honestly. For the first time in forever, I'm not hungry. Later that evening, as Dad and I made dinner together, he asked, Do you think you'll ever forgive your mom? I stirred the pasta sauce thoughtfully. Maybe someday I'll understand why she did what she did. But forgive? No. Some things can't be fixed with an apology. That's fair, Dad nodded. Just don't let it make you bitter. I won't, I promised. But I won't let anyone make me feel small again either. Zoe called that night, asking if we could meet for coffee sometime. I told her maybe, eventually. One step at a time. Have you ever had someone who was supposed to love you treat you like you didn't matter? Did you forgive them? Or did you walk away? Sometimes the strongest thing you can do isn't forgiveness. It's knowing your worth and refusing to accept anything less.